Jack sees that his neighbor, Andrew, has hanged himself. He immediately calls Detective Mehul. Mehul examines the crime scene and realizes that this isn't a suicide but a murder. Why did it seem to Mehul that it wasn't a suicide but a murder? Think carefully and comment your answer.
Andrew was murdered because if he had hanged himself, there would have been a table or chair beneath him, but there was nothing underneath him. So how did he hang himself? But the question still remained, who committed the murder?
Mehul starts the investigation. During the investigation, he finds out that 3 friends went to a party at Jack's house yesterday. Mehul calls all of them in the clothes they wore to the party. Ethan says,
"Sir, I hosted a party at my house last night. After everyone left, I just went to bed."
Lucas says,
"Sir, Andrew left the party early. I'm not sure what happened after he left."
Noah says,
"Sir, I also went home after the party too."
Mehul listens to everyone and carefully observes the 3 friends. He quickly understands who the killer is. Can you figure it out? Who is the killer? Andrew's killer is Noah. If you look closely at Noah's shoes, you'll see the same candle wax stuck to them that was found in Andrew's room. This means Noah went to Andrew's house to meet him after the party. He is lying. Mehul arrests him. Let's move on to the next puzzle. A businessman's son, Ryan, goes to his friend's birthday party where he gets kidnapped. Mehul is called, and he arrives there immediately. Mehul asks,
How did your son get kidnapped in the middle of the party? Did you see anything?
My son was sitting at this table. Suddenly the lights went out, and when the lights came back on, my son was not there.
Mehul looks at the table where Ryan was sitting. He finds a tissue paper with some symbols on it. Mehul doesn't understand what Ryan was trying to convey. Mehul questions the 4 friends, William, Jackson, Alexander, James.
What were you all doing when the lights went out?
William says,
"I was at the bar getting a drink."
Alexander says,
I was on a phone call.
Jackson says,
I was dancing.
James says,
I had gone to the washroom.
Mehul listens to all of them, looks at the clues, and understands who kidnapped Ryan. Can you figure who is the kidnapper? The kidnapper is Jackson because the note found on the table had symbols of the guitar and sun. Together they form Jackson. Ryan was indicating towards Jackson. Mehul promptly arrests Jackson and rescues Ryan. Let's move on to the next puzzle. One day, 5 friends Priscilla, Julia, Jack, Victor, and Nina plan to play a ghost summoning game. All friends gather at Priscilla's house at 11 p.m. They play the game together and attempt to summon a mummy spirit. Suddenly, the lights go out. When the lights come back on, they see that Priscilla has been murdered, and everyone gets scared. Nina calls Detective Mehul.
Did anyone see anything?
Julia says,
It was very dark, but I'm sure the mummy's spirit killed Priscilla.
Victor says,
I only heard Priscilla's scream.
Jack says,
"I have no idea about this. It was too dark for me to see anything."
Nina says,
I was very scared. I had closed my eyes.
Even after listening to everyone, Mehul finds no clue. So, Mehul checks the camera footage. After watching the footage, Mehul immediately turns off the light and understands who might have committed the murder. Can you guess who is the murderer? Comment your answer. Mehul had seen in the footage that the mummy's shoes were shining in the dark, and now when Mehul turned off the light again, he sees that Jack's shoes are shining. It means the mummy was none other than Jack. Mehul arrests him. Let's look at the next puzzle. Mehul receives a phone call that a girl is committing theft at the bank. Mehul immediately rushes to the bank. As soon as Mehul arrives at the bank, he sees a girl blatantly committing theft. As Mehul moves forward to stop her, the girl says to Mehul,
Mehul, stop right there. I'm wearing a bomb jacket. If you try to stop me, I'll detonate the bomb, and you and everyone else here will die.
Mehul carefully examines her bomb jacket and realizes that it won't explode. Why did Mehul think this way? Think about it and comment your answer. Mehul understands just by looking at the jacket that it's a fake bomb jacket, because its timer is stopped. Look at it since then, it's showing the same time. This means it's fake. Mehul arrests the girl. Let's look at the next puzzle. Rachel goes to the fair with her family, and when she returns home, she finds that her house has been robbed. Rachel calls Mehul for help. Mehul arrives and carefully examines the whole house and then asks Rachel,
Do you suspect anyone?
Yes, sir. I suspect my servant and 2 neighbors.
Mehul summons all 3 of them.
What were you all doing 2 hours ago?
Servant said.
Sir, after finishing the work at Madam's house, I had gone to my home.
Henry said.
Sir, I was resting at home. I have no idea who could have robbed the house after they went to the fair.
Thomas said.
Sir, I was partying with my friends. I don't know anything about this.
After listening to all 3, Mehul immediately understands who committed the robbery. Can you figure it out? Who did robbery? Comment your answer. Mehul realizes that the thief is Henry. Because Mehul didn't tell anyone that Rachel went to the fair, how did Henry know? This means he is lying. Mehul arrests Henry and gives him a slap, and Henry confesses to his crime. Let's move on to the next puzzle. Construction work was underway at Benjamin's house. Benjamin invited his friend Detective Mehul to see his house the next day. When Detective Mehul visited Benjamin's house the next day, he found that someone had murdered Benjamin. Mehul conducted an investigation to catch Benjamin's killer. Mehul found out that only 4 people lived in Benjamin's house: Benjamin, his friend William, and 2 painters Michael and James. Mehul questioned everyone.
What were you all doing at that time?
The first painter, James, said.
I was busy with the housework. I don't know who killed Benjamin.
The second painter, Michael, said.
I went out for tea, and when I came back after a while, I saw Benjamin was murdered.
William said.
I used to live with Benjamin before, but now I stay at my own house. I had an urgent meeting, so I was at home and busy on a conference call. It's been months since I last met Benjamin.
Mehul listened carefully to everyone's statements and examined the entire crime scene. He understood who the killer was. By looking at the crime scene, can you guess who the killer is? Let me know your answer by commenting. Look at the paint on William's t-shirt. It's the same paint used in Benjamin's house. It's on the walls and even on the Benjamin's pant too. This means William lied about not meeting Benjamin for months. He must have been at his house for sure. Mehul arrests him. Let's move on to the next puzzle. A prominent leader's son, whose name was Jimmy, had his birthday on the same day he was murdered. The leader immediately calls Detective Mehul without wasting time. Mehul goes to the crime scene and interrogates the people there but finds no evidence. Then, Mehul carefully observes Jimmy's dead body. Jimmy had left a hint behind. Can you think about it? What that hint could be indicating? On Jimmy's side, there is red color. Perhaps the red color is trying to indicate the murderer's name, or maybe the color of his clothes. There were 3 people at the party who were wearing red clothes: Michael, who was wearing a red t-shirt, Emily, who was wearing a red dress, and David, who was wearing a red kurta. Now, Mehul becomes confused about who the killer could be. Mehul questions all 3. Michael says.
I don't know anything, sir. I was just enjoying the party.
David says.
I haven't even met Jimmy, so I have no idea who could have killed him.
Emily says.
Jimmy was my good friend, sir. Why would I kill him?
Mehul listens to all 3 and looks at a photo from the party. He understands who the killer could be. Can you figure it out? Comment your answer. Jimmy's killer is David. Look at the photo. His pants were white, but now his pants are black. How is that possible? It's possible he got blood on them and changed his pants. Mehul arrests him. Let's look at the next puzzle. Mehul was in his office when he received a parcel containing a note. The note said, I have planted a bomb to blast in a city in the United States. Stop me if you can. Behind the note was a clue. Can you figure out from the clue which city's name is this? Think about it and comment your answer. Understands just by looking at the image that the bomber has planted the bomb in New York City, because the note initially spelled out New plus Y plus R, which means New York. Mehul immediately informs the New York police. Mehul catches the man, who admits it was just a prank. However, such jokes can be dangerous. The police arrest him. Let's move on to the next puzzle. While chasing a thief, Mehul reaches the roof. But from there Mehul could not understand in which direction the thief might have gone. Mehul observes all around him carefully and gets a clue. Can you tell which clue Mehul has found? Observe the scene carefully. There are many dish TVs on the roof and all of them are directed towards southeast. but the direction of this corner dish TV is very different, and fresh leaves from the nearby tree are also lying on the floor. That means the thief must have collided with this dish TV while going. That is why the dish TV got shaken and the leaves also fell down. When Mehul looks at the tree, the thief is hiding above. Mehul catches him. Let's see the next puzzle. The policeman suspects a man and arrests him. He was a foreign person. The man tells the policeman that
I am a Hollywood actor and has come to Rome in India.
After which the man shows the policeman a scene from a Hollywood film. On seeing the scene, the policeman immediately understands that the foreign person is lying. Can you tell me, what did the police saw in the scene and understood? When he was falling down, his hair has to fly upwards, but they are not flying. How is it possible? It means this was artificially created scene. The video is fake video. Policeman catches him. Let's see the next puzzle. A well-known journalist was given poisonous tea in a cafe in Nairobi, which led to his death. Wanjiru and Kamari reaches there to solve the case. There are total 3 suspects, one of them is lying and he is the one who gave the poison. Listen carefully to the statements of all 3.
I was in the kitchen when journalist came and Mr. John were making tea. I left from there and I don't know what happened after that.
I was serving tea. I gave tea to the journalist. He seemed normal to me. After that, I went to attend other customers.
I was making tea. I checked the ingredients. Nothing was expired. I saw manager Joseph coming into the kitchen. Usually, he do not come. And at that very moment, I went to the washroom.
Who is lying? Comment your answer quickly. The job of a cook is to cook and the job of a waiter is to serve. If these two had done something wrong, they would have been caught immediately. The question is, why did the manager go to the kitchen? When he went to the kitchen, the cook went to the washroom, means the manager got time to do something. When Kamari slaps the manager, he confesses his oppression. Let's see the next puzzle. A top-secret blueprint is stolen from a high-security lab in Nairobi. Detective Wanjiru and Kamari both reach there to solve this case. Both detectives call 3 suspects to interrogate them.
I was working on another project till 8 p.m. and then I left. I didn't see anyone near the blueprint room.
I was cleaning the corridor around 9 p.m. and I saw Mr. James coming out of the lab and Mr. Thompson going into the blueprint room.
I was on duty outside the lab all night. I saw Ms. Leela cleaning, but did not see anyone coming or going into the blueprint room.
One of these suspects is lying. Can you tell me who is lying? Ms. Layla, the cleaning staff, is lying. If she had seen Mr. James at 9 o'clock, then this contradicts the statement of Mr. James, who said he had left at 8 o'clock. If Mr. Ben was on duty the whole night, then why did he not see anyone coming or going into the blueprint room? This means whatever Ms. Layla is saying about Mr. Thompson is also a lie. She is involved in theft. Wanjiru and Kamari catch her. Let's see the next puzzle. For friends John, Tom, Harry, and Jack go for mountain climbing. Just then Jack gets murdered there, but no one knew who had killed Jack. Just then Harry calls Detective Mehul. Detective Mehul reaches there after some time and observes the scene carefully.
Means he has been killed by pricking with this poisonous needle.
Detective Mehul now asks the remaining 3 boys to pick up a stick and says to come along him. Everyone pick up the stick and start walking in line. Mehul looks at all 3 carefully and understands who has killed Jack. Did you understood? Tell me the answer by commenting. John and Tom hold the stick in their right hand, whereas Harry has hold the stick in left hand. Seeing this, Mehul would immediately understand that Harry must have committed the murder, because the needle also hit Jack from the left side. And only a lefty can do this, and in all of them Harry is the only lefty. Mehul slaps him hard and puts him in jail. Let's see the next puzzle. Ren, Ken, and Ben, all 3 were very mischievous children. All 3 had the same bedroom. Every night they used to leave homework and play video games on cell phone. One day suddenly father comes into the room. But at that time all 3 were reading book. Father immediately understands that a child is pretending to read a book. Can you tell who is pretending? And Ken or Ben? Tell me your answer by commenting. While reading a book, one has to hold the book with both hands like this, in the grip of the hands on both sides of the book. But Ben's hands are not visible, because he is holding the cell phone in his hands behind the book. Father understands it and goes closer and sees that Ben was pretending to read. He gets caught. Let's see the next puzzle. An ancient artifact has been stolen from a renowned museum in India. Detective Alia and Zoya arrive to solve this case. A cryptic note is found there. I am sharp but not a knife. I am useful for writing but not a pen. Tell me, who am I?
The answer to this riddle is pencil. Let's check in the drawing section of the museum.
You are such a genius, Alia.
In the drawing section, Alia and Zoya find a pencil with another note hidden in it. I speak without a mouth and listen without ears. I have no body, but with the wind I come alive. Who am I?
The answer to this riddle is echo. I think we should go to the echo chamber.
You are also intelligent like me, Zoya.
In the echo chamber, they both find an audio recording containing the next riddle. I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but I can drown. Who am I?
The answer to this riddle is fire. We should check in the fireplace area of the museum.
Come on, Alia. Let's go quickly.
In the fireplace area, they find a hidden compartment containing another note. The more it happens, the less you can see. What is this?
The answer to this riddle is darkness. Let's look in the basement because it is dark.
Basement and darkness. What is the combination?
In the basement, detectives find a secret room containing an artifact and a suspect lying unconscious.
Looks like we found the mastermind of the theft.
Wow, had fun solving this riddles.
Detectives solve the mystery behind the theft by solving riddles. Alia and Zoya rocks. Jack and Alice were millionaires. When both of them came home from their office, they saw that their daughter Rachel was not there. She was kidnapped. Jack immediately calls Mehul and calls him.
Who was in the house at that time?
Cook, guard, and watchman. At that time,
Where were you three when Rachel was kidnapped at night?
I was in the kitchen preparing food.
I was guarding outside Rachel's room.
I was standing at the gate. I did not see anyone taking Rachel.
Is there any security near Rachel's window?
yes.
Mehul immediately sees the footages and understands who has kidnapped Rachel. Rachel is not seen in the footage, but the sound of screaming is heard. Rachel got kidnapped around 2 a.m. at night. Mehul observes very carefully and understands. Did you figure out who was the kidnapper? The kidnapper is a cook, because the kidnapping took place at 2 o'clock in the night, and which cook prepares dinner at late night. When Mehul interrogates the cook, she tells him the whole truth and Mehul saves Rachel. Let's see the next puzzle. John makes a beautiful painting for his three friends, George, Andrew, and Brian. But when all three of them reached John's house to see the painting, John was lying on the ground and a knife was stuck in his stomach. Seeing this, all three shout loudly. Then Brian makes call to Detective Mehul and called him to John's house.
Who among the three of you saw the dead body first?
All three say together.
All three of us came together.
Okay, where were you three at the time of John's murder?
Sir, I was having dinner in the restaurant with my wife.
Sir, I took my mother to the doctor.
Sir, I was playing with my children in my garden.
Mehul listens to all three and understands who is the murderer. Can you understand? Tell us your answer by commenting. Andrew says that he was in his garden, and he has just worn white shoes and how clean they are. And despite being in the garden, there is no mud in his shoes. How is it possible? But look at his shoes which have green color on them. That means John's killer is Andrew. Mehul catches him. Let's see the next puzzle. Once, 5 friends Harry, Henry, Alice, Jack and Mia are having a party at Jack's house. And then one of them dies. Everyone gets scared and immediately calls Detective Mehul at the crime scene. Detective Mehul interrogates everyone.
What were you guys doing when she fell from the roof?
Sir, Jack and I were sitting in the hall watching TV.
Sir, I was cooking food for all of them in the kitchen.
Sir, I was in the washroom.
Detective Mehul listens to all 4 and understands who has lied and who has pushed Mia from the roof. Did you understand? Tell us your answer by commenting. Detective Mehul catches Alice. Because at that time Alice was working in the kitchen, her hand was stained with turmeric. And the same mark of turmeric was also seen on Mia's clothes. That means Alice has pushed her. Mehul catches her. Let's see the next puzzle.